So my career has been a bit non-linear. That's how I would kind of describe it. I started off with an undergrad in chemical physics. Luckily, by the end of it, kind of come to terms with the fact that I love working with data and technology. And so I pursued a master's in data science. I accidentally fell onto a career in healthcare that eventually led me to getting compliance skills, operational efficiency skills, and people management skills. And that's kind of how I got into JLR.
So I guess when I was younger, I didn't really ever know what I wanted to do. I was always really creative, like I really enjoyed art, but I didn't see that as a career path for me at the time. Like I wanted to make sure that I was in a sort of a STEM area. So I chose to do engineering at university. JLR were involved in a lot of career talks and seminars, and noticed that they were doing sponsorship programs and undergraduate programs, and I applied for one. So I came for 3 summers and worked in different areas of the teams across JLR, and then that sort of put me on a fast track to the graduate scheme, and that's where I sort of had my first exposure to the motorsport team, and I'm now the lead of our technical partnerships within JLR Motorsports.
I got a lot of value from the mentorship and sponsorship program by Project Orbit, still under the Reach network. And through that initiative, I managed to sit down with a mentor and a sponsor and really get to understand that it wasn't about my skill set, because I was starting to question myself. It was more about how I was communicating and conveying that. And they managed to help me along with that, and they managed to help me tweak it, get prep for interviews, and I find that that's been very invaluable for me.
To me, engineering is just making things. So sometimes I quite like to think of it as like we're a version of being an artist, whereas we just have completely different tool set.
I like that.
Yeah, so instead of like a canvas, we are making a car.
Yeah.
And instead of paintbrushes and paint, we have different CAD tools, we do lots of different things, and it's a really creative process. A lot of it is hands-on work and understanding how products are made, and if you've got that mindset of really wanting to understand how stuff works, perfect for engineering. So within SVO, I would design the sound for our Jaguar F-Pace SVR. So when customers get in that car and they turn on their engine and they hear the engine and the exhausts flare, I was able to sort of compose that sound. I'm now part of the Jaguar TCS racing team within JLR. It's a really special team to be a part of, but it's also, I'm just part of the team. When I walk into the office down in Kidlington, it's filled with people who are at the top of their game. It's all about skill set. It's never about who it is or what they look like.
And I think it's one of the things that JLR has exposed me to, because I would never have been into or gotten the opportunity to be, go to watch Formula E. So kind of geeking out a little bit.
To me, it's just an example of how anyone can get into motorsport at any stage of their career. You don't have to have the aspirations at a really young age, as long as you've got the passion and the drive.
And I think that's the beauty of JLR, that there's just so many things that you can do in this one place. You can have like 4 different careers.
Yeah, I'm an example of that. I've had 2 very different careers, but I've never left JLR.
Yeah. I've also had support for personal life changes, so whether that's just allowing me to work from home or allowing me to go off to hospital appointments or anything like that, they've managed to create that room. Also having general check-ins on me. You're not just an employee, you're a person, and a person as a whole.
It's really important though, because in previous times we would have lost people like you and your talent because we maybe weren't flexible enough. And we get to keep your talent and your special skills by offering that mentorship and that management and that grace that we can now give each other and give our colleagues.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that I'm around a lot more women in leadership, and I see that visual representation of women in those higher leadership roles, it's sort of a reassurance that it's something that's achievable. It's definitely shifted my view on what I would be able to achieve at JLR.
Being in JLR and being under the management that I'm in, I'm sort of feeling safe with the idea of exploring the things that I'm interested in. And I know I'll be able to progress naturally because of that, kind of okay with the future being explorative. If I was to say anything to women who are looking at JLR or an environment like JLR to see if they can come into it, the number one thing that I would say is you do have a place here.